It was the show that changed television forever. Top Gear, loud, fast, and unapologetically outrageous, captivated audiences around the globe. Millions tuned in not just for the cars, but for the chemistry, the humor, and the sheer unpredictability of the three men at its heart: Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May. But behind the roaring engines and daring stunts, there's a story few fans have ever heard, a story that almost tore the iconic trio apart long before Clarkson's infamous exit. Andy Willman, the producer who helped reinvent Top Gear alongside his childhood friend Jeremy Clarkson, recently opened up about a tense moment that could have changed the show entirely. In his new memoir, Mr. Willman's Motoring Adventure, he recalls a meeting with BBC executives at the height of the show's success. They weren't concerned about ratings. They weren't worried about scandals. No, their concern, as Willman describes it, was the show's lineup. It was too white, they allegedly told him. In other words, the BBC wanted to replace one of the presenters with a younger Black or Asian host to reflect the diversity of the show's growing audience. Willman says he was stunned. He reminded the executives that millions of viewers, Black, Asian, and white alike, were already choosing to watch Top Gear because they loved the team for who they were. "So hang on," he reportedly replied. "You've got young Black and Asian viewers who've chosen to watch three white, middle-class, middle-aged men doing what they do, and in response to that, we should now break that team up and give them something they're not asking for?" It was a confrontation that left him questioning whether the network truly understood its audience. "Isn't that sort of patronizing?" he asked. In the end, the network didn't move forward with the idea, and Top Gear's golden trio remained intact, at least for a few more years. But as we now know, the end of that era wasn't brought about by corporate politics or diversity debates. It came from Clarkson himself. In 2015, after a heated altercation with a producer, Clarkson was dismissed from the BBC. Hammond and May eventually followed him to Amazon's The Grand Tour, reuniting with Willman for one last hurrah. And while fans rejoiced at seeing the trio together once more, the departure marked the end of an era for a show that had redefined automotive television. Since then, the BBC has struggled to recapture that magic. Hosts came and went, ratings declined, and even after moments of high drama, like Freddie Flintoff's near-fatal crash, the show quietly ended in 2023. No matter how many times the format was rebooted, audiences could sense that the chemistry of Clarkson, Hammond, and May was something that simply couldn't be recreated. Reflecting on it all, Clarkson once said, "It would be very sad if Top Gear never came back." And for millions of fans worldwide, it truly would be. Because no matter what came after, no team ever drove into television history quite like Clarkson, Hammond, and May. Their humor, rivalry, and camaraderie weren't just part of a car show. They were a phenomenon, a touchstone for a generation of viewers who remember the thrill of seeing three friends take the wheel and never look back.